And we are live. So I'm so excited for today's Tuesday Talk Live with my special guest, Claudia Tergis. And we are going to be discussing pre-staging tips, prepare to profit. So a little bit about Claudia. She has 17 years experience as a realtor in Fairfield County, Connecticut, and 8 years as a home stager. She has formed strong relationships in the real estate and design community, both in the Northeast and in South Florida. She is the founder of Connecticut Exclusive Homes, which is a home staging, decorating, and restyling company based out of Boca Raton, Florida, where she excels at turning properties into inspirational homes for living and for selling. So welcome, Claudia.
Hi, Christine. It's a pleasure to be on with you today and sharing some of my pre-staging tips and paint color and new trends for 2022.
Yes, so I'm so excited. So, as you can see, it's winter behind me, but the spring season is definitely here, and people are preparing to put their homes on the market. So, as we all know, staging certainly sells. Here are some quick statistics. Homes tend to sell for more money and sell quicker when they are staged. The top rooms that buyers like to see staged are the living room, the master bedroom, the kitchen, the dining room, and certainly outdoor space, which is huge these days. Everybody wants some outdoor living space. So you tell us, what are you seeing? What can we do? What are some pre-staging tips? Enlighten us on your expertise.
So I would say our pre-staging tips typically are, start with a walk-through consultation with a professional home stager. It's always good to get a new, fresh set of eyes on a property because we kind of get immune to seeing what is wrong in our own home. We just look past it, and that's completely normal. So bringing in, a professional to look at your property with fresh eyes is really good. Even your realtors are a great source to walk through your property because, again, they're fresh eyes. So the pre-staging tips, typically what I like to tell my clients is that buyers sell with all their senses, which means they see things, they smell things, they like to touch things, they hear things. And so it's really important that those factors are all included in how you prepare your home. So smell, make sure the property is deep cleaned. It's got a sparkle, so that's visual. If you see dirty windows or beds that are unmade in photography, it's a really huge turnoff. And with the market being so hot, a lot of times people have gone, well, I don't need to stage. But we need to keep in mind that when the photography is taken for the listing for the MLS, the lens can only see what is presented to it. So if your house is a mess, unfortunately, that is what's going to be captured and that will show on the photography. So I would say organize your house, pre-clean your house. Lighting is super, super important. Especially in Connecticut, we're still in the winter months. It does get dark earlier. So lighting is super important. Make sure all your light bulbs are changed out. And when you have a showing later on in the afternoon, evening, turn your lights on. What else would I say? In the closets, I always like to tell my clients, take 2/3 of everything out. Just pre-pack for your new home. If you have to, take a storage unit, but people want to see their own things fit in your closet. So that's super, super important. Paint. Paint is really important because we associate the smell of paint with new, and we also associate it with clean. With that being said, going into the new trends, as you were saying, people like to use paints now with a low VOC. So we have less of that harmful fumes in our environment, which is really important right now.
Right.
And as paint goes, obviously you don't want to see Pepto-Bismol pink on your walls. You
No,
don't
you
want to
don't.
see very personalized colors on the wall. So unlike design, as a stager, we really like to neutralize and we like to carry one color throughout the property for continuity and to show the flow of the square footage, real estate, that kind of thing.
Absolutely. And I loved what you said about the closets taking 2/3 out. I like to tell my clients, you've got to pack anyway. So start
Yes.
that pre-packing process and declutter and organize everything and then do it again.
Yep.
Because it's amazing how many just little knickknacks can distract a buyer's eye. So I think that is just hugely important, and it's free. Yes, you do have to do it, and it is time consuming, but it's an easy thing to pre-prepare for staging, for photographs, and for moving. So that's a great tip.
And
And
it's
then
inexpensive.
right, exactly. As is paint. I mean,
Mm,
there's nothing like a fresh coat of paint, a great
absolutely.
neutral white, beige. Are we still seeing grays? Are they still
We're not seeing as much gray
in,
anymore.
or are they kind of out? I suppose any nice neutral color, correct?
Yes, go neutral. Typically, we like to stay in the whites, like Simply White by Benjamin Moore,
Mm,
White Dove, there's Chantilly Lace, just basic and neutral because people have very personal taste when it comes to paint.
right.
So let them envision whatever they want on your walls. And, same thing with photography. Going back to tips, take out your family photos. People don't want to see someone else living in their
Right.
new home. They want to see themselves living in the new home and creating their own new memories.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, I think a great tip for people is that first impression.
Oh,
From the
absolutely.
second you walk in, or that curb appeal and that foyer, that first impression, those first 3 seconds can make or break. So they need to see clean, sleek, welcoming, um, you know, pretty colors and pretty welcoming items and things, right?
The way I always tell my clients is that the arrival at a home is like a smile. So
Yeah, absolutely.
it's the first impression you make when someone meets you and you smile at them. It is a welcoming, you want to come in, right? If someone frowns at you, well, you're probably not going to be as excited about seeing the property. So the frown would be a property that's just not been well kept. It's dark, it's messy, and you just maybe it doesn't smell good. You don't want to go in there. So you want to see that nice, bright smile that welcomes you and you want to move forward into the property.
Absolutely. And also a question I was actually asked yesterday by somebody who's thinking about selling window treatments. Do they stay? Do they go? And if they stay, should they just be neutral, hung up high, kind of just sheer panels, or what's new with window treatments these days?
So what we do in window treatment, so it depends on your market. Here in South Florida, we're competing with a lot of new construction. So typically we tell them take the window treatments off. If they're heavy valances, old, like Laura Ashley flowery or, that kind of stuff, it's
Gotta
got
go.
to come off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes you do want to put something sheer because maybe you have a view that's not as beautiful to look at. Maybe you're
Mm,
looking at someone else's side of the house. It's just not pretty. Something really simple and sheer to distract the eye is not a bad idea in that case.
right, right.
But
Good to
typically we
know.
say take it off, let the natural light come in.
Yep, absolutely. Well, these tips have been super helpful. Thank you so much. Where can people follow you, get in touch with you?
So we are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, on LinkedIn. You can find us under CT Exclusive Homes or Claudia Tergis. They can visit my website, which is www.ctexclusivehomes.com. And I am always available to answer any staging or decorating questions.
Terrific. Well, this has been super helpful. Thank you so much. And I'm going to post this on YouTube and I'll put all of your contact information there as well. So
Thank
thank
you,
you everybody
Christine.
for tuning in, and thank you, Claudia. Have a
Thank
great
you,
day.
Christine. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.